my bunnies, it's Tiki's Trinkets here, and today I have for y'all another polymer clay tutorial. This tutorial was also a request by the channel name right here, and they've requested several videos from me in the past, but this was the newest one that they requested from me, and they requested that I make Trigger Happy from the Spyro video game series. I can't even say Spyro right, oh my lord. And I think he came out so daggone cute. He's so chunky. He's so textured and furry looking. I mean, like, look at that. It's just in awe of the texture. And his tongue is just perfect. Everything about him is just so perfect. I didn't do too much detailing on his actual guns, but I think it looks fine to me. And the guns aren't the main thing. I mean, he is trigger happy, but, I mean, it's not him. I would never slack on the actual character, but I did slack a little on his weapons, but it's fine. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy this video so much, and especially to the person who requested this, I hope you enjoy this too. I really enjoyed making him more than I thought I would, so yeah, this was pretty fun. I do still want to do more original stuff this year, so there will hopefully be an original tutorial coming this week. But there's also a few sets for Etsy that I didn't finish from last year. So, you can kind of see some of them sitting back here. So, I will probably be doing a little bit more requests, but I hope next week to be an original video again. Either way, we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. Hopefully. If not, tune in Friday to see what I post. And sometimes I am late, and I'm sorry. It's just, right now I'm recording this tutorial intro at 11:02 on Friday night, so, yeah. Sometimes I don't get the things done before they're supposed to go up. Life is crazy, and I am lazy. That should be my life motto. Anyways, I've been talking for 2 straight minutes, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video very much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye, my bunnies! For this tutorial, you're going to need Sculpey White, Sculpey 18 karat gold, Sculpey red, Sculpey orange, and I forgot to put it in this picture, but you'll also need Sculpey tan color as well. We're going to start by mixing the Sculpey red and the Sculpey orange. I did like 75% red and 25% orange, so just a little bit of orange in this mixture just to give it a kind of off red color. And then I went on ahead and cut this into the size balls that I needed, and these are going to be all the balls you need. We're going to start with the largest one in the center and roll it into a teardrop shape that's kind of rounded at the top. And then I also bent it forward just slightly. After you do that, I pressed it down on my work surface so it would sit flat on the work surface, and it'd be flat on his bottom. Next, we're going to move on to these 2 balls right here, and these are going to be his little feetsies. So you're going to want to roll these in the teardrop shapes. And then, a little bit unusual from what I usually do, you're going to pick them up and press them against the work surface so they'll be flat on the bottom, because he has really flat feet. That's the only way I can explain it. After I got them both flat, I cut off the top parts and just left very small nubs, because he has small, nubby little feetsies. And then I put them on the legs. I mean, on the body. My god, I cannot. I can never do these videos very well, can I? Next, I'm going to use these 2 red balls right here, and these are going to be his arms/hands. So I'm going to roll these into teardrop shapes. And after you get them rolled into teardrop shapes, you're going to press them down gently with your index finger on both of them so that they'll be nice and flat. They'll be flat on the bottom, but they're still kind of rounded on the top. Once you get done, they should look something like this, even though this photo is very, very blurry. Either way, after that, we're going to cut out little triangles to make 4 fingers, 2 thumbs, and 3 little fingers. I'm not sure if that's anatomically correct for the character, but we're going to go with it. Then I bent them just slightly because he's going to be holding his guns in the pose, which you'll see later, or you saw it at the beginning. Next, we're going to go ahead for now and move on to his tongue. So you're going to use this ball right here, and you're going to roll it into a very long teardrop shape, nice and thin. Then cut this a good chunk of the way down, take about 75% off, and only leave about a quarter of it left. And then with the quarter bit that's left, do what you did before and press it down nice and gently. And then you should get a similar shape to just like before. And once you do that, after it's rounded on the top and flat on the bottom, just use your X-Acto blade to make a line up the center, and then pick it up and curve it into an S-like shape. So it should look something like this. The top part you can't see here because I have it laying on its side just to give you a better angle of the curve. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to his ears. So we're going to take these two balls right here and roll them into about a little more than an inch long in teardrop shape. And then you're going to take them and bend them very slightly sideways and take a rolling ball tool and roll it gently from the bottom to the top, making it very pointed and hollow inside. Once you're done with that, just go ahead and cut the rounded bits off the bottom. And then once you're done with that, he has a little curve on his ears, so I just took this curved tool, or anything curved, and cut off little bits of the ears on the side. Then I went on ahead and set it back down, just so you can see everything all together. We'll come back to this red ball later, because this is part of his eyes. So for now, we're moving on to that tan color from earlier. And what you're going to want to do is pre-roll all the balls for this, which you're going to need 3. And we're going to start with the largest one down at the bottom. All I did was roll it out into a ball shape that was a little bit smaller than the actual torso. And then I just put the X-Acto blade into it and made it indented, and then just pressed it onto the torso. I didn't take all the pictures, but I hope you get the gist of that. It should look how it looked before. Next, we're going to take these two balls and roll them into teardrop shapes, putting the pointed part near the top of the ear. And then, once you do that, you can cut off the little excess bits. Then do what you did before, and similar to what you did with the inside of the ear, just press it down from the bottom to the top. No, with this part I did the top to the bottom. And then that little excess bit, leave it hanging on because you're going to need that. Now go ahead and stick a wire inside the ear that you already made, the side of the ear that you already finished, and stick it on there. That little excess bit should hang on just enough so you can blend those in together. Once you blend them in together, they should look something like this. And then off camera, I went on ahead and did the other ear as well, his left ear. And it should look like this on both sides. Next, we're going to cut out the mouth of the creature. So I just outlined the spot that I wanted the mouth to be cut out to make sure it's the right shape and equally symmetrical. And then I just went on ahead and cut it out very slowly and carefully, and make sure you don't go too deep within the mouth. And the spare clay you can just kind of set to the side somewhere. Next, we're going to use this red ball from earlier. Roll it so that there's 2 balls on both sides instead of a teardrop shape, so it's narrow in the middle. After that, once you get the shape before, press it down gently so that it'll be nice and flat all around. Once you get done with that, it should look something like this. As you can see, mine's 1 inch in size, that way you know how long it is. Although I did cut off about 1/8 of a centimeter, I think, so keep that in mind. Next, I just set everything near each other so you can see it all together and how it's going to look. But I didn't glue the arms on here yet. No, not yet. Then I went on ahead and put the beaded eyes on too. But again, you could do clay eyes. That's up to you. If you do, probably you should use yellow to be more accurate to the character. Next, we're going to move on to the white color clay, which we're going to take 1 ball, which is about 1/2 inch, a little bit larger in size and diameter. And then you're going to roll it out into a very oval-like shape. Make it as thin as you possibly can without it ripping apart. Once you do that, cut out 2 small little rectangles. Right now we're making his teeth, so that's why we need just 2. Then for both the top and the bottom, you're going to cut 2 triangles out. Try to space them apart equally. Cut it further apart, so if it's smaller, you can just cut it and put it back together. And then once you get the size right, cut out the excess and then stick it inside of the mouth. It should look something like this once you're done. Then I went ahead and repeated this process for the bottom, making it smaller than the top, much more thinner because we don't have a lot of room to work with now. Once I got finished with that, I went ahead and took some alcohol rub, I'm having a brain fart, and cotton swabs and cleaned it off because it was looking really dirty. It only took 3 whole cotton swabs, and it actually looked pretty clean after that. Next, I took some Loctite liquid glue, and I went on ahead and glued in the tongue, not the eyes. These are plastic eyes, so don't glue those in. Next, I went on ahead and got the 18 karat gold Primo color. I said Sculpey earlier, but this is Primo Sculpey. Fancy. Then you're going to need 2 balls, just 2, which we'll multiply later to make more of what we need. Roll these into teardrop shapes. And then you're just going to pretty much cut out the center of them so they look like these little tubes right here, the flat pieces in the middle. But the 2 rounded nibs on the right, don't throw those away yet. We're going to use those right now. And you're going to roll both of them. This is just me showing you doing one. rolled it out flat, cut it into a kind of, this is a really hard to explain shape, a gun handle shape where it's round on the bottom but flat on the top. And then that flat top part, just cut a little triangle out of it. That way you can just slide it onto the gun like so. Then that little bit of excess clay from earlier, that triangle we cut out, just keep that and then just press it into like a little C shape so that that'll loop around his finger so it looks like his finger's on the trigger of the actual gun. Then I use my X-Acto blade to indent lines onto the barrel of the gun, and also I'm going to take it to indent lines onto the handle of the gun as well. And I went on ahead and placed it inside of the hand of trigger happy, and then on the opposite side of the hand, put the little trigger piece around his index finger. And I mentioned this earlier, but I'm just now showing it because I'm a doofus. Now I'm putting the lines on the handle, and then I repeated the step for the second arm, and now you have both the arms done. Next, you want to get some Loctite glue, and you're also going to want to get some metal wire for support, and stick it about halfway into the sculpture and about halfway into the arm, and glue that puppy on. And then once you've glued it and it's nice and dry, use your rolling tool to kind of blend it into the body, and then repeat with the second arm, and then you're done with that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my X-Acto blade and do texturing all over his body. To do this, all you have to do is do small little lines throughout the whole body going up and down. That was the front, this is the back. It takes a lot of time. It probably took me about 30 minutes to an hour just to do this. Next, I went on ahead and took the eyes out because we're about to bake. Then his arms are very fragile and they might fall in the oven, so take anything wood or tin foil and put them under the arms to keep them supported in the pan. Then I baked it for 350 degrees for 12 minutes because my oven's gas, but if you use an electric, use it for less time and do it for 9 minutes. Now, very unusual to what I typically do, I used a wood burner and engraved little drawings on this gear shape for his base while he was baking. If you need to know more about wood burning, ask me in the comments or I'll make a separate video later. Next, once he's out of the oven and cooled off, I went on ahead and used Loctite glue to glue in his eyeballs. But to glue him to the base, I use E6000 because it's more secure, as you can see right here. And I use the side that I engraved upwards so you can see it while he's sitting on it. And then once you're done with that, it should look like this. And now all you have to do is glaze it. And I use polyacrylic floor varnish from Walmart. And I just put it in a reusable container. And I just glaze him with at least 2 coats of the glaze, and then he's done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will have more for you next week. Bye-bye, my bunnies.